What's happening, you kind folks out there on the World Wide Web? Welcome into the Ipaintcreatures YouTube channel, and I just flashed you my 90-page book of symphony right up there. Please get at me in a personal message at getipcsymphony@gmail.com and get your copy because they're going fast. I think there's only like 80 of them left, and I'm starting to move them like crazy, and I don't know if I'm going to do a reprint. I think it's going to show up in an NFT so you can get it that way, but to get the physical book, which is gorgeous, which is glossy, and it's so tactile to have in your hand, go down and send me an email and say, IPC, I want to get the symphony book. But of course, if you haven't been here before, welcome on in, and thank you for hitting that sub button, and turn in on your alerts so you can get these videos in your mailbox as they come out. I usually do 3 a week and been at it for 35 weeks, and I know each week I gain some new viewers and new subs, so thank you very much. And I'm going to start getting a little more entertaining and moving into my Funky Eye Puppets project. But right here I showed the inking of this last week, and this is just a painter, musician, MATSU a goblin. And how I define goblins is goblins are just humans who have gone back to their creature nature. And so they've incorporated, like this guy looks like he incorporated some wolf or rabbit or dog ears, and he picked the color of the frog and those type of amphibian type creatures. But he's standing upright. That means he still has language and has imagination, and he's got a big old backpack of Copics and pencils and pens, and he has a little ho-ho, which is a Japanese yokai phoenix, and ho-hos can come out of any elemental, not just fire. They can come out of rainbow, they can come out of water, and so that's what's going on there. And this week on the videos, I thought I'd explore some poet quotes, and so this one is by Salman Rushdie, or Rushdie, and Salman says a poet's work is to name the unnameable, to point at frauds, to take sides, to start arguments, shape the world, and stop it from going to sleep. And I've known this quite some time because when I officially started writing poetry is when I came out of my operation at 11 years old, where they originally said they would amputate this left arm, which you see I have, and basically, you know, I healed miraculously, or whatever it was. They were calling the deadly dis-ease. And I just started writing because I really couldn't talk to other 11-year-olds my age. And I started writing what I now know as magical realism. For those of you that know my poetry, have either seen me perform live or heard me on twitch.tv/Ipaintcreatures, and now on the fabulous Clubhouse. I love to paint creatures with my words, and I'm referring to the creatures inside of all of us humans, the ones that goes back to, you know, our source or our spirit nature, where the most magic and the most mystery lives inside of us, right? And so when Salman talks about basically, you know, the poet talks about the unnameable, so that's where I always apply metaphor, right? And meta meaning you can sense what's going on, but you really can't really conceive it, and you know, take it down and ground it in the lyrical, literal sense of things. And so it's what I do on my story of MATSU, which I'm bringing forth the Funky Eye Puppets. First of all, I've never had, you know, animated creatures or characters talk in poetry at the level that I've studied my life and I express it. So in MATSU and the Funky Eye Puppets, look for us. We're on Clubhouse. We have a server on Discord. But a lot of what's coming out in the verse there is a lot of wonder. You know, because you got to remember, like, especially with language these days, there's so much language coming out of us, and a lot of the most powerful language is advertising language, and it's still kind of in the old school model where they don't ask your permission to bug them and interrupt us in our day just because they want to show us this newfangled product. And I've been just really reflecting on lately just how the world came to be of all these products that hurt us, you know, from food to, you know, the vibratory nature of certain things. So yeah, the poet is very important in these times because there's so many words coming at us, and we got to figure out, you know, what they mean and what their intent is, and are they just trying to put a veil of us and bring us into something and get us into some desire that really we don't naturally have. So yes, the poet's job is definitely start arguments, just to, you know, get things moving and loose and back in our imagination, more curiosity and wonder. And then through that, we do definitely shape the world, because a lot of good poetry is exaggeration. A lot of my poetry works in magical realism, which is, you know, constantly reaching in the beyond, into the metaverse of things, you know, beyond our comprehension, but we can feel it and sense it. So that's where I really believe, you know, poetry is music, and poetry is song, and poetry is the music of language. And I think one of the most magical things about poetry is you're working with such a sharp conqueror's language, especially the English language. So when you start expressing it, it has a lot of sharp edges, and it's super powerful. So definitely keep the world from going to sleep. And you don't have to be a working poet. Just move poetically and be who you be, like a funkified funky poet. Funky eye puppets. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching the video.